This is the story of what happened to Criss Angel after Mindfreak made him the most famous magician on the planet. But here's the thing, Criss Angel didn't actually disappear. He's been performing 5 nights a week in Las Vegas for 16 consecutive years straight. What changed wasn't his work ethic or his presence in the entertainment industry. What changed was that he went from being in your living room every Wednesday night to performing in a single theater in Nevada. And without that weekly television exposure, he simply faded from the public consciousness, even while continuing to sell tickets and earn millions of dollars. The question isn't really, where did Criss Angel go? It's, why did one of the most recognizable entertainers of the 2000s become virtually invisible to mainstream audiences? Christopher Nicholas Sarantakos was born on December 19, 1967, in Hempstead, Long Island. His Aunt Stella taught him his first card trick when he was 7 years old, and by his own account, from that day on, he was hooked. At 12, he got his first paid gig at a neighbor's birthday party for $10. By 14, he was performing at restaurants in East Meadow, New York. What separated Angel from traditional magicians wasn't just his skill. It was his entire aesthetic. While most magicians wore tuxedos and performed in theaters, Angel had long black hair, wore leather, and listened to industrial rock. He obtained a pyrotechnics license at 18, earned a 7th-degree black belt, and studied dance and gymnastics. He wasn't trying to be the next David Copperfield. He was trying to be something else entirely. In 2001, he opened an off-Broadway show called Criss Angel Mindfreak at the World Underground Theater in Times Square. Over the next 2 years, he performed over 600 shows. Then in 2002, he set a world record by suspending his body from fishhooks for 5 hours and 42 minutes in Times Square. The magic community noticed. More importantly, television executives noticed. On July 20, 2005, Criss Angel Mindfreak premiered on A&E. It was the first weekly primetime magic show in 40 years, and it changed everything. The show ran for 6 seasons and 96 episodes, ending on September 8, 2010. At its peak in Season 3, it was A&E's #1 rated show, pulling in over 1.5 million viewers per episode. The promotional materials claimed it reached over 100 million viewers across 90-plus countries, though that figure likely represents cumulative international viewership rather than per-episode numbers. What made Mindfreak different was its approach. This wasn't a stage show filmed for television. Angel performed dangerous stunts in public with real reactions from ordinary people. He walked on water at Lake Mead, a clip that currently has over 60 million views on YouTube. He levitated 500 feet inside the Luxor's light beam. He walked up the entire 650-foot side of the Luxor Hotel. In 2008, he performed during the demolition of a 9-story hotel in Clearwater, Florida, drawing approximately 50,000 attendees according to local police. What some called the largest crowd for any magician since Houdini. The show made him more than famous. It made him a cultural phenomenon. Magic industry sources noted that he became the most watched magician in internet history, with videos viewed 5 times more than David Blaine and 10 times more than David Copperfield. When A&E executive Sean Field spoke about Angel in 2006, he said, "Criss Angel is the biggest name in magic since Houdini. No other magician has invaded pop culture to the degree that Criss Angel has." The International Magicians Society named him Magician of the Year an unprecedented 5 times. In 2001, 2004, 2005, 2007, and 2008. He won Magician of the Decade in 2009 and Magician of the Century in 2010. The accolades kept coming. Oprah Winfrey called him the best. While Mindfreak was still on the air, Angel made a decision that would define the next phase of his career. In October 2008, he opened Criss Angel Believe at the Luxor in Las Vegas, a collaboration with Cirque du Soleil that had a $100 million budget financed by MGM Mirage. The opening was a disaster. The Las Vegas Review-Journal published a review titled "New Criss Angel Show is Unbelievably Bad, Sad." The LA Times said Criss Angel's Believe hard to believe. Critics complained about a lack of actual magic, a confusing narrative, and a show where neither Angel nor Cirque du Soleil seemed to be performing to their capabilities. By December 2008, Just 2 months after opening, the Luxor was offering 40% ticket discounts. Then in April 2009, blogger Perez Hilton attended the show and tweeted that it was unbelievably bad, and he'd rather be getting a root canal. Angel responded with obscenities from the stage. Cirque du Soleil had to apologize to Hilton, and the Las Vegas media turned strongly against Angel for breaking the taboo of insulting a guest. But here's what's interesting. After a major overhaul in 2010 that added 30 new illusions and reduced the narrative elements, the show improved dramatically. The Toronto Star wrote in 2011 that the show is easily the most exciting thing now on stage in Vegas. Newsweek estimated the show generated $150 million in ticket sales in 2011 alone. It had sold over $5 million in advance tickets before it even opened. Believe ran for nearly 8 years, closing in April 2016 after more than 4,000 performances. By any measurable standard, it was financially successful. But it also marked the beginning of Angel's fade from mainstream consciousness. While he was performing to packed houses in Vegas, he wasn't on television every week. And in entertainment, if you're not in people's homes regularly, you start to disappear. Angel tried to recapture his television success. In 2013, Spike TV launched Criss Angel Believe, a new show that attempted to recreate the Mindfreak format. It was canceled after 1 season. In 2022, the CW gave him Magic with the Stars, a competition show. It ran for 1 season and wasn't renewed. Also in 2022, Angel launched a Mystica in partnership with director Franco Dragone in a theater at Planet Hollywood. The show closed after just 26 weeks. According to reports, the final performance had approximately 150 people in a theater with 1,460 seats. The television landscape had changed. Cable TV viewership was declining. Streaming services were the new frontier, but Angel hadn't secured any major streaming deals. Unlike David Blaine, who got a National Geographic documentary in 2025, Angel wasn't capturing the streaming audience. Meanwhile, other magicians were thriving. Penn and Teller had been at the Rio for over 40 years and were still hosting Fool Us on the CW, which continued to get renewed. David Copperfield was still at the MGM Grand with an estimated net worth of $1 billion. Matt Franco, an America's Got Talent winner, was capturing younger audiences with his own Vegas show. In October 2015, Angel's life changed in a way that had nothing to do with his career. His 20-month-old son, Johnny Christopher, was diagnosed with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Angel canceled his Las Vegas shows and flew to Australia to be with his son. This is actually when the public learned Angel had a secret family. He had denied having a son just 3 weeks earlier. The diagnosis came at a particularly complicated time. Angel had secretly married Australian singer-songwriter Shonelle Benson in February 2014, but they divorced in October 2015, the same month of Johnny's diagnosis. They would later reconcile in 2018 and have 2 more children together, a son named Zristos Yanni born in January 2019, and a daughter named Elugia born in 2021. Johnny went into remission in June 2016 after 3 years of chemotherapy. But in December 2019, the cancer returned. He was 5 years old. Angel poured himself into advocacy work, founding the Johnny Christopher Children's Charitable Foundation. He created the Help Gala, which raised over $1 million in September 2016. He personally donated $1 million at a December 2022 event. The legendary comedian Jerry Lewis passed what Angel called the philanthropic baton to him for pediatric cancer work. In January 2022, Johnny rang the bell at Cure for the Kids Foundation, marking his official remission after 1,095 chemotherapy sessions. He was 7 years old. Angel spoke publicly about the experience, saying, "My son is supposed to outlive me. I'd rather it be me that was sick. I want Johnny's future to be long and happy. That kid is just a bundle of love. He's the truest form of magic." It's impossible to overstate how this 7-year battle affected Angel's career priorities. Shows were canceled or reduced. Focus shifted, and understandably so. While Angel was dealing with these personal challenges, his relationship with the magic community was deteriorating. Penn of Penn and Teller, publicly called Angels, believe show a massive pile of dog crap. He criticized Angel and other magicians for pretending some of their tricks weren't tricks, saying, "After doing magic tricks and lying to people like we do, they then try to pretend that some of the stuff that they're doing isn't doing that." On magic community forums like Theory 11 and Talk Magic, the criticism was harsher. Users complained that Angel said he didn't use stooges, then used stooges. That he said he didn't use camera tricks, then used camera tricks. That he said he didn't edit videos, then edited them. One commenter wrote, "He's got an ego bigger than Texas and has pissed on nearly every major name that originally reached out to help him." Another called him Magic's Axl Rose. He was criticized for revealing the ashes on the hand trick on national television and for publishing 40 trick explanations in his book, Mindfreak, Secret Revelations. Angel also feuded with other famous magicians. In 2007, he offered $1 million of his own money on NBC's Phenomenon to contestant Jim Callahan if Callahan could prove his paranormal abilities. The confrontation nearly turned physical. In 2016, after Forbes named David Copperfield the world's highest-paid magician, Angel tweeted, "The old school, tired, hokey magic shows of yesterday are done. #poof." He accused Copperfield of buying fake Twitter followers and called him DC, refusing to say his name. On Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast, Angel claimed he tried to mend fences with David Blaine by attending his show and giving him a $20,000 ring, but said Blaine acted bizarre and refused to take a photo with him. A 2024 SFGate headline summed up the situation. In the early 2000s, he became an icon. Now, Las Vegas magicians loathe him. The cultural parodies didn't help. Jim Carrey's character Steve Gray, in the 2013 film The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, was directly modeled after Angel. Ben Stiller's Tony Wonder, in Arrested Development, parodied him. YouTube characters satirized him. In March 2017, Angel lost consciousness during a straitjacket escape stunt and was rushed to the hospital. He later told The Hollywood Reporter, "I remember getting put into the straitjacket, and the next thing I remember is waking up to people putting needles in my arms, wires on my chest." He was 57 years old now. The extreme stunts that defined his early career, suspending from helicopters with hooks through his back, being buried alive, hanging in a concrete cube over Times Square, those weren't sustainable indefinitely. The 2017 incident was a wake-up call. So why don't we see Criss Angel anymore? It's not because he stopped working. It's because of 7 converging factors. First, he shifted from a national television model to a Vegas residency model. After Mindfreak ended in 2010, he lost that weekly exposure that kept him in the public consciousness. Second, cable TV itself declined, and his attempts to return to television failed. The Spike TV show lasted 1 season. The CW show lasted 1 season. The Mystica production closed in 26 weeks. Third, he didn't successfully transition to the streaming era. While David Blaine got streaming specials, Angel didn't secure those deals. Fourth, competition increased. Other magicians adapted better to changing entertainment landscapes or maintained longer-running shows. Fifth, his son's 7-year cancer battle understandably shifted his priorities from 2015 to 2022. Sixth, physical limitations and age made extreme stunts less feasible. At 57, he can't do what he did at 37. And seventh, his early 2000s goth rock aesthetic hasn't evolved with changing cultural tastes. Here's what people miss when they ask, what happened to Criss Angel? He's currently performing Mindfreak at the Criss Angel Theater at Planet Hollywood. Yes, they renamed the theater after him, 5 nights a week, Wednesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. The show features over 50 illusions in 75 to 90 minutes with no intermission. Tickets average $196 to $257. The show was extended through December 2025 due to strong ticket demand. On August 8, 2025, he performed his 1001st show at Planet Hollywood. In 2026, he's collaborating with rock legend Alice Cooper on a show called Welcome to Our Nightmare, with limited engagement dates at Planet Hollywood. The first 3 shows sold out in 1 hour, prompting 4 additional dates to be added. His estimated net worth is $50 million, with some sources estimating as high as $70 million. Bloomberg Businessweek reported in 2016 that he was earning $70 million per year personally from all his ventures. He maintains 1 million Instagram followers. He hosts a podcast called Talking Junkies. He trains in MMA and holds a purple belt, working with former UFC fighters Frank Mir and Jake Ellenberger. He's still working. He's still successful. He's just not on your television every week. The story of Criss Angel isn't a tragedy or a cautionary tale. It's the story of how modern entertainment works. In the 2000s, if you had a hit cable show, you were a household name. In the 2020s, the landscape is fragmented across streaming platforms, social media, and countless entertainment options competing for attention. Angel made a choice, or perhaps circumstances made it for him, to become a Vegas-based performer rather than maintain a national media presence. For 16 consecutive years, he's been a headliner in Las Vegas, performing thousands of shows and generating hundreds of millions of dollars in ticket sales. By any reasonable measure, that's a successful career. But here's the reality. If you're not in people's homes regularly, you fade from memory. Angel went from 1.5 million people watching him every Wednesday to performing for audiences in a single 1,460-seat theater in Nevada. Those audiences have a great time. They see 50 illusions. Many leave impressed, but they represent a tiny fraction of his former television viewership. Magic industry sources note that despite his heyday being more than a decade in the rearview mirror, when laypeople are asked to name a magician, they still say Criss Angel. That cultural footprint remains, but it's fading. So when people ask what happened to Criss Angel, the answer is simple. He traded national visibility for a stable Vegas career, dealt with family health crises that demanded his focus, and didn't successfully navigate the transition from cable television to streaming-era entertainment. He's still performing magic 5 nights a week. He's just doing it in a way that keeps him out of your living room. And in entertainment, if you're not in the living room, eventually people forget you're still in the building.